Hey folks, welcome to Shooting Up North. I'm your host, Louis Carlin. We're right here on the Alliance Pro Wrestling Network. Thank you so much for joining me. If you're watching for the first time, please consider hitting that subscribe button. If you want to follow me on social media, I'm on Twitter at Shooting Up North, Instagram at Alliance PW Network, and feel free to join our Facebook group, the Alliance Pro Wrestling Network. And I'm trying to get to 2,000 subscribers, guys. I'm at 1,769. I'm trying to get to that magic number of 2,000. So if you're watching for the first time and you enjoy the content, please consider hitting that subscribe button. If you have friends who are Impact Wrestling fans who don't subscribe, maybe convince them to come on over and hit that subscribe button as well. But trying to hit 2,000 subscribers. And hopefully I'll hit that I'm hoping I hit it in 4 or 5 months. I got a little over 300 more to go. No, actually a little over 200 more to go. I'm sorry. And 1,769 is what I have right now. Last I looked. Hopefully there's more. I'm not going to check now, but trying to get to that magic 2,000 number. So if you could help me out, man, I would appreciate it, guys, and I appreciate each and every one of you. So let's get into it. This Impact Wrestling news, notes, and opinions for January 7th, 2023. But before I get started, I just want to let everyone know that I had the privilege and the pleasure of interviewing one of the all-time greats in professional wrestling. She's had a legendary career. I'm talking about Mickie James. So I interviewed Mickie James. That interview is up now on the channel. Please go check it out if you haven't seen it. It was an honor to speak with Mickie James. We spoke for about 14 minutes. It was it was a dream interview for me. And again, it was an absolute honor speaking with Mickie James. We spoke about her upcoming career versus title match against Jordan Grace on January 13th at Hard to Kill. We spoke about Deonna Purrazzo saying that she would like a casket match with Mickie James. We spoke about Gail Kim, if Gail Kim came back for one more match, if she would like to be Gail Kim's opponent. We spoke about that. We spoke about a number of things, so please check it out. It's on the channel now. My interview with Mickie James, and again, it was the absolute dream come true. Absolute dream come true. It was I can't say it enough. I can't say it enough. When I got this opportunity, there was no way I was gonna let it go without doing the interview. But check it out. It's on the channel now, and I hope you enjoy it. So let's get into it. Impact Wrestling news, notes, and opinions for January 7th, 2023. Impact Wrestling has added 2 matches to Hard to Kill. They're 2 pre-show matches that they've added to Hard to Kill. Let's pull it up here. I should be prepared. I should have it ready. But I'm just going to put it up right here. They added 2 matches to Hard to Kill. As I said, 2 pre-show matches. One match I'm okay with. One match I have a lot of questions for. So let's talk about the one match that I'm okay with. It's going to be the Knockouts Tag Team Champions, the Death Dolls, Taya Valkyrie, Rosemary, and Jessica taking on Giselle Shaw, Tasha Steeles, and Savannah Evans. That should be a terrific match. Of course, Valkyrie, Rosemary, and Jessica, as I mentioned, the Knockouts Tag Team Champions. They work on the Freebird rules, so any 2 of the 3 can defend the titles. But titles aren't on the line here. It's a trios match. Again, their opponents, Giselle Shaw, Tasha Steeles, and Savannah Evans. That should be a good match. Good pre-show match. I'm okay with that one. It's the other match I'm not really okay with. I got a few questions. It's a 6-way match. New Japan Pro Wrestling's Kushida making his return to Impact Wrestling. Speedball Mike Bailey, Alan Angels, Yuya Amora, Bhupinder Gujjar, and 73-year-old Mike Jackson. I don't mind. It's a 6-way scramble match. Kushida, Bailey, Angels, Umora, Gujjar. Okay. Well, I'm going to talk about Kushida in a second, but why Mike Jackson? Why Mike Jackson? I don't understand the appeal of Mike Jackson. He's 73 years old. He's still wrestling. Okay, I understand. They're going to Florida. I'm sorry, they're in Georgia, not Florida. And Mike Jackson used to wrestle for Georgia Championship Wrestling. This is how old I am, actually. I used to watch as a kid Georgia Championship Wrestling back in 1980, 81, and Mike Jackson was a youngster back then, and he was on the show almost weekly, and he would take on opponents, and he would do well, but he would always wind up losing. And he was announced as the Alabama Junior Heavyweight Champion back then. I think they still announce him as that now. But I used to watch him in 1980, 81. That's how old he is, and that's how old I am. But where's the appeal of Mike Jackson? Why is Mike Jackson going to be able to keep the pace with Yuya Uemura? Is he going to be able to keep up with Speedo Mike Bailey? Is he going to be able to keep up with Kushida? Is he going to be able to keep up with Angels? Where's the appeal of Mike Jackson? Again, you're saying, oh, he's 73 years old, he's still wrestling, but there's no, I don't get it. I don't get it. Okay, fine, he's 73 years old, he's still wrestling. God bless him. But why does he have to be involved in this match? That spot should have gone to somebody like an Aiden Prince. Aiden Prince is lighting it up in Ontario right now on a weekly basis. Almost a weekly basis, I should say. He has multiple titles. He's a Seaway Valley Wrestling champion. He's the Destiny Wrestling World Champion. He's absolutely lighting it up right now. And he's signed to Impact Wrestling. Why isn't he getting that opportunity? Why isn't he getting that opportunity at Hard to Go? Why is it going to Mike Jackson? Why isn't it going to Aiden? Why isn't it going to Jason Hotch? Why isn't it going to Jack Price? Why isn't it going to John Schuyler? Why isn't it going to Shogun, Jackson Stone? Why isn't it going to one of those guys? Well, why is Mike Jackson? I don't get it. Okay, it's a scramble match. It's a pre-show match. But it's people going to say, "Oh, Mike Jackson's on the pre-show," so you know what? I'm going to order Hard to Kill. Yeah, it's just for me, I don't. There might be Mike Jackson fans out there that, and trust me, I'm a Mike Jackson fan. Like I said, I used to watch him in 1980 when I was a kid. When I was 10 years old, I watched him Georgia Championship Wrestling. He would always do well, and he had a full head of hair, had a mustache and a beard, and he always do well, but he would always wind up losing. He had deep arm drags and a very scientific wrestler. So is the appeal that we're going to get to see Mike Jackson grab somebody's arm and walk around walk around the top ropes like he did the last time, walk around and spend 45 minutes, making his way around the ring on the top rope? Is that the thing here that they're hoping everybody tunes in for? I don't get Aiden Prince, man. What are they doing with this guy? What are they doing with Aiden Prince? Aiden Prince is an incredible talent, incredible young talent. He's had a handful of matches. We haven't seen him. I don't know if there was something else going on. Maybe there's an issue with it. I don't know what's going on with Aiden Prince, but he should be on the show. They should be building him up as a top X Division star. He's definitely has a talent, and I don't know why he's not in this spot. I don't know why this spot's going to Mike Jackson. And Mike Jackson, not signed with Impact Wrestling. So even though, okay, say they want to, instead of Mike Jackson, you don't want to use Aiden Prince, you don't want to use Jack Price, you don't want to use Jason Hotch, you don't want to use Jackson Stone, you don't want to use John Schuyler, you don't want to use somebody from your roster. Fine. How about we tout the debut of the Impact Wrestling debut of someone like Alec Price? If Alec Price was in this freaking match, this match would be so much more interesting to me. If it was Titus Alexander in this match would be so much more interesting to me. I'm going to use Aiden Prince. If Aiden Prince was in this match would be so much more interesting to me. But with Mike Jackson, that novelty of Mike Jackson, does anybody really care? Honestly, again, nothing against Mike Jackson. I'm not trying to knock Mike Jackson. I'm not saying Mike Jackson is a bad guy and he shouldn't be here. Or, I'm not saying I don't want to speak negative about Mike Jackson. I don't like speaking negative about anybody. But in this specific situation at Hard to Kill on the pre-show, there's a lot of other options that they could have used besides Mike Jackson. Okay, lots of other options they could have used. And again, I hope we see Aiden Prince back soon in Impact Wrestling. Now, I'm a big fan of Aiden Prince, and I know they're coming up to Windsor. Hopefully, we'll see him in Windsor. But there were so many other options that he could have used here besides Mike Jackson. And New Japan Pro Wrestling star Kushida. Kushida is back, making his return to Impact Wrestling. My question on that is why is he on the pre-show? Why are they sticking him in this pre-show on this six-way scramble? Let's just stick him in the six-way scramble match. There's nothing else they could do with Kushida. They can't get him on the main show. They could have set something up between him and Speedball Mike Bailey. They could have had a one-on-one match. That would have been absolutely spectacular. Speedball Mike Bailey against Kushida at Hard to Kill. How awesome would that have been? And in the six-way scramble match, you could have had an Eden Prince and a Jack Price or a Jason Hotch inserted into this match as well. Into that match. I don't know why they put him on the pre-show. I mean, when Juice Robinson made his return to Impact Wrestling, he was regulated to the pre-show as well. I think he made one appearance on Impact, one or two appearances on Impact on Access TV, but I think they stuck him on one or two pre-shows as well, if I'm not mistaken. I know definitely one. I don't think he was on a maybe he was on a regular show. I'm just forgetting, but it seemed like it wasn't it didn't seem like that big of a deal that Juice Robinson was back in Impact Wrestling. And to throw Kushida into a scramble match on the pre-show? I mean, shouldn't Kushida be on the main show? I mean, come on. Even Kushida against Alan Angels on the main show. Or Kushida against Jason Hodge. Kushida on the main show against somebody. He shouldn't be regulated to the pre-show. That's my beef with this match. That's my beef with this match. And I think I'm going to leave it at that. I'm going to leave it at that. So with those two matches, and here's the rest of the card. Impact Wrestling World Champion Josh Alexander, of course, defends against Bully Ray in a Full Metal Mayhem match. Impact Knockouts Champion Jordan Grace defends against Mickie James in a title versus career match. And don't forget, my interview with Mickie James is up now on the channel. Please check it out if you haven't checked it out already. Impact Wrestling Motor City Machine Guns defend in a 4-team elimination match against the major players, Matt Cardona, Brian Myers, Bullet Club, Chris Bay, Ace Austin, who I hope win, and Heath and Rhino, again, in an elimination match. X Division Champion Trey Miguel defends against Black Taurus. Impact Digital Media Champion Joe Hendry defends against Moose. Jonathan Gresham versus Eddie Edwards, Steve Macklin versus Rich Swann in a Falls Count Anywhere match. That should be absolutely spectacular. Absolutely spectacular. Number one contenders match for the Knockouts title. Masha Slamovich versus Taylor Wilde versus Deonna Purrazzo versus Killer Kelly. That should be absolutely pure fire as well. And then we got the two pre-show matches, which I just discussed. So that's Hard to Kill. And it should be a very, very, very good show. Very, very good show. I just wanted to you vent a little bit about that one match that kind of bugs me. That I think they could have done a little better with that one, but we'll see. I mean, Mike Jackson fans out there, hey, nothing personal against you. I'm sure there'll be plenty of comments as well. So, all right, so that's that. Actually, I was watching Impact Wrestling. I love the Dancing Moose thing. Joe Hendry against Moose at Hard to Kill for the digital media title. That whole Dancing Moose thing was just hilarious. Joe Hendry, man, Joe Hendry is just knocking it out of the park right now for Impact Wrestling. Absolutely love that Dancing Moose video, and that's going to be the new thing. Dancing Moose. That was so awesome. I absolutely loved watching that. I love Joe Hendry. I'm so glad he's with Impact Wrestling. He's he's really entertaining, and his segments are entertaining as well. Very, very entertaining talent. And again, that Dancing Moose thing. I hope we see a lot more of that Dancing Moose thing. And Bully Ray destroying Scott D'Amore, that was great as well. I thought that was well done. I knew Scott D'Amore was in trouble. You know, last week when he sent Josh Alexander home, Josh Alexander not going to be there, of course. Well, I'm sure he was still backstage, but he was just sent home. And Bully Ray destroying Scott D'Amore, nobody to help him. I thought that was great stuff. Great stuff, Bully Ray, but just destroying Scott D'Amore. And it was nice to see Scott D'Amore without a headset on for a I think he ripped that headset off and threw it in the air. That was his. I thought that headset was like attached to his skull or something. And it was like Velcro to his Velcro to his scalp. But it was good to see him without that. But that was well done. That was well done. I'm looking forward to Hard to Kill. Actually, Josh Alexander actually spoke about Hard to Kill. He was on the Wrestling Perspective. I'm sorry, new interview with the Pro Wrestling Torch. I'm sorry. I know he was with the Wrestling Perspective, but this is a quote from the interview with the Pro Wrestling Torch. Josh Alexander commented on the upcoming match with Bully Ray on January 13th, Full Metal Mayhem. And this is what Josh Alexander had to say. He said, I think all the pieces have been set with the story to kind of get everybody invested in the match at the very least. I'm very invested in the match. And I'm sure you're very invested in the match as well. Like you said, it's going to be a different style of match, different kind of opponent. Bully Ray has made his entire career out of being the perfectionist of tables, ladders, and chairs, and all that stuff. He has made his career by being good at that stuff and using that stuff. Me, I'm known as the wrestling machine and a wrestler's wrestler. I have not used any of that stuff ever in Impact Wrestling and hardly ever throughout my career, so it's going to be a different type of environment for me. I'm gonna I'm gonna get a chance to show everybody that there's a different side of me, a little bit more violent and extreme. But I'm excited to show fans something different than they've ever seen before, that they've ever seen out of me. Because I think a lot of times, especially now, you get pigeonholed into your categories. Like this guy's a technical wrestler, this guy's a brawler, this guy's a talker, this guy's this. I believe I can check every single box in professional wrestling, and I am excited to show everybody that at Hard to Kill. Josh Alexander has just made me more interested in this match. I'll be honest, that's the first time that I've read that quote. I figured I would debut my reading of that quote to you guys, and that's the first time where I'm more invested in the match now. Josh Alexander can have a great match with a brawler, with a scientific wrestler, with a technical master. He could have a great match against anybody. I mean, you could put him up against a slipper. And Josh Alexander, I have a little foam slipper here. I think if I was ever a promoter, if I was a booker and I booked a match, Josh Alexander versus the versus the foam slipper, in a Texas tornado match. So it would be an entertaining match. It would be an entertaining match because Josh Alexander's involved. That's how good he is. He's definitely one of the best in the world. I can't wait for January 13th. I think him against Bully Ray is going to be absolutely outstanding. I think the entire show is going to be absolutely outstanding. And I'm looking forward to it. But Josh Alexander getting violent. I've seen Josh Alexander in matches where up here in Ontario where he's gotten violent. The match against Sammy Callahan, Destiny Wrestling. Callahan hit him with a garbage can, and this was a couple of years ago. And Josh Alexander just started bleeding like a stuck pig, and he got pretty violent. He stuck in there, got pretty violent in that one as well. Other matches I've seen him get violent there was a match I saw him against El Reverso. I'm going to speak about El Reverso in a second, but a match against El Reverso I saw it in Kitchener, Ontario. I forgot what kind of match it was, but it was a brutal match, and Josh Alexander, was really the violence came out of Josh Alexander in that one. I think if I remember correctly, Reverso's arms were tied behind his back by Alexander, and he just beat the hell out of Reverso. And it was a great stuff. It was great match. But Josh Alexander could get there. Josh Alexander could get there. He has a violent side, and it's going to come out on January 13th, and I'm looking forward to it. I can't wait. Now I mentioned El Reverso. I want to talk about El Reverso. He's actually El Reverso. If you remember him, he's did a couple of appearances for Impact Wrestling usually when they're up here in Windsor. He makes appearances. He's on the show. I know the last couple of ones he's been on there, and they're returning to Windsor, of course, in March. But El Reverso with the mask, but he's gone through a character change. He doesn't wear the mask anymore, and now he's the Dan Reverso Pizzano. And let me tell you something. I absolutely love this new character. It's absolutely taken off here in Ontario, and he's without a doubt become one of the best wrestlers on the Ontario scene right now. He's just getting better and better and better. He's getting more comfortable with his new character. I've seen a couple of matches of his since he's been the new character, and he's just knocking it out of the park each and every time. And I think it's time. I know he's interested in Impact Wrestling. And I think it's time for Impact Wrestling to give Dan Pizano an opportunity in 2023. Now, there's unfortunately there's a reason I'm not going to go into it. I'm not going to discuss it, but there's a reason why he can't get the opportunity now. But but I think he should. I think he should definitely get an opportunity. Sorry, I'm trying to hold back a cough. But I really think there's I think in 2023. Sorry, I'm just getting excited. I think at some point in 2023, Dan Reverso Pizano should get an opportunity with Impact Wrestling. I think he would be great for the X division. I think I'm hoping in when they come back to Windsor in March, I'm hoping that Dan Reverso Pizano is on the show because they if he's on the show, they should really take a long look at Pizano. He should have multiple matches. It's 2 nights, so he should have multiple matches. Well, I think one night is Sacrifice. I don't know if he'll be on the Sacrifice. Maybe he'll be on the pre-show if he's in fact on the show at all. But I hope they do give him an opportunity because if he's given an opportunity, he can without a doubt take that ball and run with it and hit a home run each and every time. He's just a fantastic, fantastic talent. And Dan Reverso Pizano should be given an opportunity, in my opinion. And I hope he's given that opportunity at some point in 2023 with Impact Wrestling, because I know he would love to be there, and I'd love to see him there. And hopefully Impact Wrestling will love to have him as well. I mean, he's already got the endorsement of Josh Alexander. They've had, I mentioned, they had a terrific match in Kitchener, Ontario. They've had a few matches, actually. I was there for for that one match with Reverso and Josh Alexander in Kitchener, Ontario, and it was just out of this world fantastic. Just out of this world fantastic. Dan Pizano has it. He has it. He's had terrific matches with Josh Alexander, Jody Threat. He's had terrific matches with recently. He was recently the Barry heavyweight champion. He dropped the belt recently to Jody Threat. I watched him. He was in a terrific match for Sarnia for Chem Valley Pro Wrestling. I was watching there. It was in a scramble match. He was, in my opinion, not taking anything away from the other competitors in the scramble match, but he was the standout in that match, in my opinion. And all I got to say is Dan Pizano deserves an opportunity, and hopefully Impact Wrestling will give him that opportunity in Windsor, Ontario. Take a good look at him, and hopefully we will see Dan Pizano sign some sort of contract with Impact Wrestling in 2023, because I personally think he deserves it. Okay, so I'm going to leave it at that for now. If anything else breaks, I'll be back. But until then, thank you very much. Take care. Bye-bye. Stay safe, everyone. So long. Bye-bye.